The Connecticut Huskies looking to make history in 2025 as the first team outside of the UCLA seven-peat to go for 3 straight national titles. And the biggest recruiting job of this offseason, regardless of who was on UConn's roster as a transfer or as a freshman, was keeping Danny Hurley as their head coach, spurning the Lakers offer to coach out in Los Angeles, and signing a 6-year extension that keeps him in stores. Alex Caravan also coming back, absolutely massive for Connecticut, going to be one of the best players at his position at the power forward spot in the entire country. Hassan Diarra going to have to be asked to step up in role. He will run the show for this team. Solomon Ball, they have been rave reviews coming out of Connecticut, the way he has played as a sophomore. A lot's going to be expected of him. Aiden Mahaney, a big transfer get out of the portal. He comes over from St. Mary's, going from West Coast to East Coast, and reports out of stores have been that Liam McNeely has been terrific so far as a freshman. He could be one of the guys that's maybe not being talked about amongst the great freshmen in the country this year, but at the end of the year, he could totally be in that discussion. Samson Johnson looks to go from backing up Donovan Clingan last year to the starting center position. Terrace Reed transfers over from Michigan to certainly give Connecticut some depth. And then some returners, Jalen Stewart, Jaden Ross, both sophomores this year. It's going to be a different UConn team, but with Danny Hurley running the show, the way that he's coached this group up the last couple years, and the talent that they have, UConn could totally be talked about as the first team to three-peat since UCLA back in the 70s. Most teams coming off a Sweet 16 year that lose players the caliber of Trey Alexander and Baylor Shireman would take a step back, but that might not be the case for the Creighton Bluejays and Greg McDermott. McDermott has a solid nucleus to lean on returning. It has to start with Ryan Kalkbrenner. He's going to be one of the best centers in all of college basketball this season. Yes, he can score, but defensively, just outstanding, protecting the rim, and his 3 Big East Defensive Player of the Year awards certainly back that up. Stephen Ashworth is also back to run the show for his graduate season, transferred in from Utah State last year, did some very positive things as he kind of found his way amongst the talent that Creighton had last year. Mason Miller also back, hoping that he makes that big jump from sophomore to junior year. He will start at the 4. The transfers are going to fill the void of Shireman and Alexander. Pop Isaacs comes over from Texas Tech, was a bit inefficient last season, but they're hoping for big things. He can create, he can make plays for others. Jemiah Neal also comes over from Arizona State. There are some big returners, I think, though, on the bench for Creighton when you look at this roster. Jason Green, massive game against UConn last year. Isaac Trout had some moments, but certainly some struggles as well. He transferred over from Virginia last season. Frederick King is now a junior. He takes a step up from his sophomore to junior year. I think there's a ton of talent in Omaha this year, and certainly Greg McDermott every year, year in, year out. This is one of the best offensive teams in college basketball. Shaka Smart has done as good a job as any coach in college basketball at building culture in his program, and that shows. You lose players the caliber of Tyler Kolek and Oso Ighodaro, and this team is right back there in the top 25. Cam Jones making the jump from the 2 over to the 1. Going to be interesting to see just how he handles that because he is such an effective scorer. We did see him do a great job last year of running the show when Kolek was hurt late last season with an oblique injury. Stevie Mitchell is back. You have to think with something to prove after not getting the nod for Big East Defensive Player of the Year last season. David Joplin will be back at the 4. It looks like from the outside looking in that Chase Ross will get the nod with the opportunity to start at that 3 spot. And Ben Gold, a guy that's going to be counted on to go from the bench last season to start for Marquette this year. Sean Jones tore his ACL last season. Probably going to take a little bit of time for him to get back up to speed, but when he gets back, that will allow Cam Jones to move off the basketball at times. Zayd Lowry is back. Al Amadou is back. Caden Hamilton sat out last year. Trey Norman is back. The only team that I know of in college basketball that didn't go to the portal, it's all about continuity at Marquette. It's about growing from within, and that's what Shaka Smart is counting on in 2025. Even with Xavier losing Quincy Oliveri to the NBA and Desmond Claude to USC, I think the Musketeers are a team that can seriously make some noise that are not rated in the top 25 to start this season. Davion McKnight, one of the underrated point guards nationally. I think he is poised to have a breakout season in Cincinnati. Ryan Conwell, loved the way he plays. Coming over from Indiana State, that offense was potent last year in the Missouri Valley. And then a great story for the Xavier Musketeers is the return of Zach Freemantle and Jerome Hunter. With Freemantle and Jerome Hunter back, I think the Xavier Musketeers are one of those under-the-radar teams to watch for that can make some serious noise in the Big East and the NCAA tournament this year.